Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in our Adapting and Innovating Beyond COVID-19 webinar series. Today's webinar is focused on how to transform your brick and mortar store into an online e-commerce store. My name is Tharea, and I'm a program coordinator with Access Community Capital Fund. And we are a registered charity with the aim to give everyone in our community the opportunity to reach their full potential through sustainable employment and self-employment. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, please visit us on our website at accessccf.com. So before we get started today, I wanted to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So if you're new to Zoom, the menu bar is located at the bottom of your screen. In this menu bar, you can find the video, sound, the chat box, and the Q&A chat box. For the purposes of this webinar, all attendees' mics are muted in order to ensure the best sound quality. If throughout the webinar you do have any questions for our guest speaker, please type them into the Q&A chat box, and we'll do our best to get to all the questions at the end of the webinar in the Q&A portion. If you have any technical related issues with sound or anything like that, please type those questions or any other general questions into the general chat box rather than the Q&A chat box, and that just helps us keep ourselves organized. We'll be posting any links or helpful tools for you in the chat box as well, so you guys can refer to that throughout the webinar. So without further ado, today's presenter is Daniel Lewis. He is an author, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. He's a proud founder and of award-winning tea company, Tea by Daniel. His people-focused outlook on entrepreneurship and experiential business tactics have garnered him and his company nationwide recognition and many awards and honors, such as the 2016 Business Excellence Award and the 2017 Top 40 Under 40. So at this time, I'm going to pass things over to Daniel to get started on today's presentation.
Thank you so much, Soraya and Otis, and to Access Community Capital Funds. This is a great opportunity, and I'm happy to be here. First off, I think it's right just to welcome you all to the presentation, Bricks to Clicks, and thank you for joining us. It's going to be a good time. We're going to get into some specifics of how to transform your brick and mortar store into an online store. And even if you don't have a brick and mortar store, I think there's going to be some useful tips on just how to build an e-commerce site that's sustainable and that can keep your business going, especially in this time. Also, before I jump in, I do want to wish you all good health and safety during this time. I know it's a little crazy, challenging, uncertain, but I wish the best for you and your families during this tough time as we're all trying to find the best way to navigate through this. So thanks for joining me. All right, without further ado, let's get started on Bricks to Clicks. Rather than a speaker, I like to call myself more of a storyteller. I like to tell stories, and I think we learn so much through stories, through other people's experiences. And I'm going to talk about how my wife and I transformed our business from brick and mortar into an e-commerce store, but also, our journey and how that looked, because we started as an online store almost about 10 years ago. And because we weren't seeing any real success or any traction there, we pushed to open a brick and mortar. But it's funny that life has changed a bit, and now we've kind of had to reverse that and go back to an online store. So I'm going to get into that a bit. So let's jump right in, all right? Here's a quick session overview. So these are the 6 topics that we're going to cover. As you can see, Amazon, we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about choosing the right site or the right platform. I personally went through about 4 or 5 different platforms. I've built over 12 different websites, and I feel like only as of last year we've got the right one. So I do have some experience in trial and error in building a website and using different platforms. We're going to talk about name, domain, and host, copywriting, photography, which is super, super important. And to build or not to build, that's do you want to build the site yourself, or should you hire a pro? Another important topic. And then blast off, how to launch and start your online store. Just to give you a little bit of background story, My company is just about 10 years old now. And as I mentioned, we started as an online store. So, I thought it was a very easy way to get started in business. It didn't cost a lot of money to start an online store. So we launched an online store about 10 years ago. And for the first couple of months, actually quite a few months, there was absolutely no traction, no orders. Nobody was coming on our site. Nobody cared. Nobody knew we existed. Nothing was happening on tbydaniel.com. So I learned very quickly that because we're selling tea, Tea by Daniel is a tea store, we're going to have to put a physical presence or face to our business in order to get some traction online. So fast forward, we started doing events, a lot of events where people could try our products, meet us, get to know us. And then when we were at those events, we would create sign-up lists and then point people back to our e-commerce site. And we started to get a little bit of traction. But when we would send people to our website, what I would later learn is that we never had all the proper navigational tools. We never really knew what we were doing when we were building our website. So it was kind of like wasted effort because we still weren't seeing sales, traction on our website. So we learned how to garner that over time. Fast forward, running our store for about 6 years, we built kind of a community, a tribe. And last year, 2019, my wife and I made it seemed random to customers, but we just made this conscious decision to phase out our brick and mortar store. And we were doing well, sales were good, but we decided to close our brick and mortar store for personal reasons and growing our family. We had 2 new kids, or 1 new baby, but 2 kids that we wanted to focus on. And we kind of noticed this trend changing in retail. So we wanted to get ahead of the curve and not drowned out in retail. Fast forward to today, it seemed that was a really good choice. So I'm going to kind of be coming from that perspective, just so you have some background information. Okay, so let's jump to our first topic here, Amazon. If you are thinking about opening an online store, selling e-commerce, the first conversation I think you should be having is Amazon. There's no way around Amazon once you come into the online space. So it's really a matter of, do you want to work with Amazon or do you want to ignore Amazon and build your own? And I'll explain. Amazon is your biggest threat online, or they're your best bet. I'll explain. So there's some good news and some bad news about Amazon, hence the smile and the frown. And I'll just make sure I can get this out of the way here. So the good news is that Amazon, as we all know, is the biggest online store in the world. They're the biggest online marketplace in the world. And they have access to pretty much every customer that you can think of and that you and I could tap into. So what's the good news about that? The good news is you don't have to start an online store from scratch. You can build an online store, an e-commerce store using Amazon's framework. And if you look into that and research it, there's a way where you can build out, your own shop on Amazon. You can list your products, all the descriptions, the prices, and you could sell right off Amazon. You could even tap into their FDA, which is their fulfillment center, and send your products to their fulfillment center so that when orders come in for your product, Amazon is the one that's fulfilling it and shipping it out to your customers. So this is an easy way of just getting started. You don't want to build out your whole website and all the the back end things that can sometimes get a little tricky. You really just want to get started in selling. So that's the good news, that you don't have to start from scratch. You can simply go on Amazon. They'll assign an agent to you to work with you to build that store out, and boom, you're off to the gates. So if you find that route is more convenient for you, you have hundreds of millions of customers at your disposal. Amazon could facilitate that. So what's the bad news about that? The bad news is It's almost the same as the good news that Amazon is the biggest online store in the world and has access to millions of customers worldwide. That also makes them a competitor to you if you're not using Amazon's platform, especially because customers nowadays, which are so educated in products and services and where to find them and how to compare prices, they're going to look at your product, my teas, your jewelry, your whatever you sell, and after they read up on it and see all the prices and everything, they're going to go to Amazon and check out 50 to 100 other competitors that are selling the same thing and sometimes more for less costs. So though Amazon has good framework and a lot of benefits to it, you still have to watch out because Amazon is your competitor, your biggest competitor. So that's kind of the good news and the bad news with Amazon. I just wanted to highlight really quickly, if you are choosing to sell on Amazon, what that process could look like for you. This diagram shows it pretty straightforward. You're the online merchant. You list X, Y, Z products on Amazon, and Amazon can deliver it. You choose your delivery method. It gets to your client. The other route is send it to their fulfillment center, and they will take care of all the fulfilling for you. Very simple. So a good question to talk about is, why didn't we, when we were starting out, my company, why didn't we choose to sell on Amazon? It was the more inexpensive way of selling and starting online. Here's why, and this is what's really gonna divide maybe this group that's listening today into the people who will decide to go this route and those who will decide not to. So if you're asking yourself, should you sell on Amazon? It's something that you have to define yourself in answering this question. What does success look like for you in your business and online? And this is the question I had to ask myself. Do I just want to sell a lot of teas, or do I just want to sell a lot of products? Just sell, 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 sell. If so, there's a higher likability or a higher chance that having a store on Amazon is going to equip me to do that. Why? There's more traffic. There's more customers. You just tap into a bigger database of potential buyers. So if you just want to sell and that is what you want to do, Amazon might be the right way for you. But for me, when I was starting out, I was more keen on building a brand. And that's where it gets a little tricky. Amazon might not be the best route for somebody who's trying to establish a brand. Why? Well, other than, a few knockoffs, do you ever see Louis Vuitton on Amazon? Maybe, and nowadays, you'll never know because Amazon's getting that big. But 10 years ago, 5 years ago, companies that are focused on building and establishing a unique brand, they're not turning to Amazon because Amazon is a brand. So as they grow, Amazon's the one getting the praise and the glory from a branding perspective and not necessarily you. I didn't want to drown out in that sea of branding by just throwing my products up onto Amazon platform. So I decided I'd rather start from scratch, build my own brand, build my own presence, just because I felt that brand in years to come would become more valuable. Think about all the hundreds of products that you see on Amazon. How much do you know about the companies that sell them? We don't even necessarily care most of the time. As long as there's good reviews, the price works, I'll buy it. I don't even care what the name of the company is. I just didn't want the company that I was building to become that. Another reason why I decided against selling on Amazon, if you want to talk about, imagine this, like you have your storefront and, for those who had a brick and mortar, imagine if your competitor's product, so in my case, let's call it David's Tea. Imagine when you come to Tea by Daniel's store, you just turn your head and David's Tea is right there. That's what it's like selling on Amazon because they can click your product and then all these other competitors and other products that people have viewed pop up as well. So you start your customer or potential customer, they're just like, okay, not next, and they're just turning you like pages. That's what I felt was happening, would happen if I sold on Amazon. So long story short, I decided not to go with the Amazon route. Now, fast forward to today. Would I sell on Amazon today? I am more open to it. And the reason being, Amazon has become so big and so well known that even big names are selling on Amazon. They're opening their own storefronts on Amazon e-commerce platform. So David's Tea has a store on Amazon. You might see your competitors on Amazon. So it makes you start to say, I don't think my brand would suffer that much today because of who Amazon has become. So really do your research and ask yourself what success looks like to you. You might want to be a brand that just establishes yourself on your own, or you might want to tap into Amazon's resources. But you definitely should be having the Amazon conversation if you're thinking about getting started selling online. All right, and that was the first point. So the second point is, let's say you want to establish your own. And what platform should you use? What website provider should you use? So in a nutshell, you want to choose a platform that complements your products and your services. And as I mentioned, I went through a bunch of them. All these ones that you see listed on the screen here, I had an e-commerce store on them. So I did Wix. I still use Wix for one of my sites. I did BigCommerce, Volusion, Square. I will put this in, and Shopify didn't pay me to say this, but I think Shopify is the best platform for people who are selling products. I'll differentiate that from services. Products, as in, you sell cell phone or cell phone cases or food products or whatever it is. Shopify's back-end system is like a dream come true. The back-end system, and I'm not going to get too much into it because you should really do your own research and see how it meshes with your business. But Shopify, the way the platform is designed, it's like when I had my store, a customer comes in, it's like a machine was tracking every move they made, what they picked up, where they came from. Imagine that. If your brick and mortar store, you could know everybody that walked in, what store they just came from. That would help you tailor the experience so much more if you had that information. Things like other Shopify stores, how many conversion rates they're having, just to measure where you're at. There's so much information that Shopify provides, and in just a seamless way. Their customer service is great. So enough about them, but do your research. I really, really think Shopify is great if you're selling a product or a service. But then let's jump over to Wix, as you can see up there. Wix, I've built many websites on Wix. And one of the greatest things I love about Wix, you could literally build a website yourself in an hour or less. It is so, so easy of a platform to use. Dragging and dropping, adding images, adding music. You could literally design the website you see in your head on Wix, no problem. So I use that for my public speaking website, where I'm selling more of a service. I'm really just giving a lot of information, and then people contact me. I still use Wix today, so it's great for that. The other ones, including Shopify, are going to require coding and are a lot more technical. And what I mean by that, for those who may not know what that means, is let's say you want to change the border from green to brown. You can't just click the color palette to brown. You have to get like a graphic designer, and it could be really time consuming and technical. So that, amongst other things, you really want to check out what is the best platform for you to use. All right. I know Square is very easy. So do your research. And how do you know if it's the best platform for you? Here are some questions that you can ask. Number one, what are the features of the platform? So when you go to the website, it's going to be one of the first things that they're trying to promote to you is, we do this, we do that, we do this. Simply go through that list and say, that's perfect for my business. I need that. Don't really care too much about that. I need that. And make sure that all those features mesh with your business and what you're trying to accomplish. Number two, does it require a developer, or is it drag and drop? As I just mentioned, can you navigate and move things around yourself, or will you need a developer? That's going to be key. Some people, and I know in the beginning, only up until maybe 2-3 years ago, I wanted to be able to do everything myself. I don't want to call anybody or email anybody to change anything. I want to do it. So that was a key feature for me. Then it comes down to price. What do you want to spend, right? One of the platforms that might cost a lot, you're probably going to see that in the value of what they offer and what they'll take care of. So you got to look at your budget to what they offer and say what makes sense. I will say this, you will get what you pay for. It's the same as with everything else. So the quality of customer service, tools, features, everything, analytics, how to measure your customers' behavior, you're going to get what you pay for. So really read reviews, do your research, and align that with your budget. Another thing is it easily compatible with your social channels? One of the main drivers of sales over the last 10 years for my company has been social media, specifically Instagram. So I cannot build an e-commerce site that does not mesh well with Instagram, because all my marketing efforts are really done through Instagram. My entertainment, vlogging, Insta stories, posts. That's how I find a lot of my customers. So you want to look at whatever social channel you're using and make sure that that web platform that you're thinking about getting into has all the tools to correlate in a way that you could be able to send customers right from your Instagram feed straight to your website platform, and there's no technical difficulties. It's seamless. There's ways that they can shop and so forth. So really make sure that it jives well. All right, number 5, what is the size of your business, right? If you're a small business, a small company, you may not need to invest in this huge online platform for thousands of dollars. You might be able to use just a regular, like for instance, Wix. You could sign up for free. You could build your website for free on Wix. The only drawback is they're going to keep their watermark at somewhere on the page. If that doesn't matter to you, because maybe you're just starting out, by all means, save the money and use Wix's platform for free. If you're a company who's in a growth phase or a bigger company and a bit more established, and you can't afford for things like their watermark there and all these things, then you got to make sure that the website platform you're using correlates with that. And can you scale your business using the tools offered on that site? I started T by Daniel on Wix. And as T by Daniel grew, we were getting more sales volume. People were coming in from international onto our site. Wix wasn't able at that time to facilitate the growth of my company. That's why I had to switch. Shopify was built to scale, for sure. There's my Shopify plug again, all right? 6, what e-commerce security is offered? That's just like anything. You want to make sure that it's secure so that people's information is not getting compromised, your information is not getting compromised. Check out the security benefits. And then what payment portals are compatible? How are you going to accept payment? Also, which I didn't add to this list and I should have, shipping. Shopify, I have my Canada Post business account connected directly to Shopify. So when my customers add my products to their shopping cart, they can get real-time shipping rates. And that is going to be key. Remember, we're not giving our products over the counter anymore. We're shipping. Customers want to be able to see how fast they can get it and how much it's going to cost. So really make sure that there's a good shipping module incorporated in your web platform. All right? So those are some things you should ask. Maybe screenshot that if you need it before you sign up to any web platform. Now let's jump into name, domain, and host. Registering a memorable name and connectivity. Believe it or not, folks, I have seen so many mistakes in this area. It is so easy to lose customers here. Let's talk about it. I made a poem for you guys, okay? It's called The Name Rules Poem, okay? And it's going to be on Spotify, soon, I'm sure. All right, it goes like this. And it's a poem about registering your e-commerce site. If it's hard to type, then we won't type it. If it's hard to share, then we won't share it. If it's hard to remember, then simply we won't remember it. Now, I'm a terrible singer, I know, but that is pretty much when it comes to naming your e-commerce site. Oh my goodness. If it's hard to spell or hard to type, it's very simple. We're not going to type it. And if it's hard, if it's difficult to share that, if it's going to become like broken telephone, I want to tell somebody else about your site, but I can't remember if it's X, Y, Z, and I think there's 2 T's. We're not going to share it. And if it's hard to remember, we won't remember it. That poem is by Daniel M. Lewis. Thank you. So here's an example. All right. Brick and mortar name. So let's say this is just made up. Your brick and mortar store name was Emily's Luxury Diamonds and Jewels. Do not register your domain or your e-commerce site the same way as www.emilysluxurydiamondsandjewels.com. No, that is a no-no. We will never type that in. We will never remember it. We will always end up seeing 404 not found because we're spelling it wrong. There's too many characters. So although that's your company's name, you got to get a little bit more creative when you're signing up online real estate. And you got to make it shorter, more memorable, and easy to type. So that's a bad example. Let's look at a good example. Same name, Emily's Luxury Diamonds and Jewels. A possible e-commerce name could be emilydiamond.com, www.emilydiamond.com. It's simple to remember when people are talking about it. Oh yeah, check out emilydiamond.com or elux.com. Simple, short, effective, easy to share, easy to send on WhatsApp. Your kids could do it, all right? So brick and mortar name, when you're transitioning to e-commerce, you wanna make sure that you get creative. And if you have a long company name, don't write out the whole thing. Now, what happens if somebody already owns emilydiamond.com? Again, you got to get creative. It could be emilydiamondco.com or, Emily Diamond. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not great at naming websites, but get creative. Make sure that it's something that we could remember. All right. So let's talk about domain and host. For those who may not know what that is, domain and host is really just how it's the connectivity, the technical stuff that we don't really understand about the internet, how your website connects online and how people could access your website. Here are the 8 rules of registering your domain. Number 1, stick with .com. .com, if possible, is the safest ending to your e-commerce. It's the most known. We understand it. I know you're going to get tempted because you see .wiz or .library or whatever. Try to stick with .com, all right? It's the most universal domain ending. So .com if possible. Now, you can also, as we've done, tbydaniel.com, we also bought the domain for tbydaniel.ca because we're in Canada. So you can still buy others, but try to own the .com. Keep it short, as we mentioned. Keep your name short. Number 3, use related keywords if possible. Now, keywords are, let's say you sell diamonds, right? In your e-commerce name, try to have diamonds. And that's not always going to work. Try. The reason is because when it comes to SEO, for those who don't know what that is, it's called search engine optimization. When Google spiders, that's what they're called, are looking for information. So when somebody's like, show me the best store that sells diamonds, those spider bots start crawling through everything online and they find the words of what people are typing in as search terms. So if diamonds is in your name, your e-commerce site, that's going to improve your ranking. And that's going to put you higher up on Google's list of potential people to check out. So whatever your product is, try to have it in your website name. Now, I'm not practicing what I preach with that one because I sell tea, but my name is teabydaniel.com and it's not TEA. You give some, you take some. I was more keen on building the brand of Tea by Daniel, so I sacrificed the TEA in that case. But see how that applies to you. Avoid symbols, that's a given. Avoid double letters. Now that might be tough if your business or your company name has double letters, but it just gets really confusing sometimes when there's double letters because people may forget that, that extra letter or sometimes put an extra letter. It just reduces, it increases, the chances of somebody spelling it wrong. Research your intended name, Google it, right? Because if somebody has something very close to that, it's gonna cause a lot of confusion. So you wanna avoid that. Some hosting companies offer free domains. So I know one of the most popular ones that people think about is GoDaddy. If you register your domain with GoDaddy, sometimes they offer free hosting services. Or if you choose, like for instance, I know Wix.com, if you sign up your e-commerce on Wix.com, they offer free hosting and sometimes free domain as well, where you could purchase your e-commerce name from Wix right there and do everything with Wix. So really check out the features in that sense with your platform. Okay, and as I mentioned, if possible, purchase the CA domain as well, given you live in Canada or your business operates in Canada. Moving along, love this topic. This is what I call the meat of having an e-commerce store, copywriting and photography. This, I would say, you want to invest your money or your time into because it's the make or break of any online store. So what is it? Copywriting and photography. When you're online, remember, we don't get to necessarily get your personality or your soft tone or, we don't get all those things that we would when we walk into your store. So really you're left with your words and your photos in order to convince shoppers to make a purchase or to consider a purchase with your products and your services. So your words and your photos are key. So I wanted to highlight the difference between copywriting and content writing. Because sometimes you're just writing things for your website or for your products, or even on a post on Instagram, this might help you as well, but you're not sure if it's copywriting or content writing. Excuse me. So here's the difference. When we're talking about copywriting, this is the style of writing that you're going to use to build your e-commerce site. And here's why. Here's my water. Here's why. Copywriting is written in a way to drive sales or lead generation, to get clients in, the type of style. And I'm going to show some examples. It's the type of writing that makes people want to know more or want to try your product and your service. It uses emotion to seal the deal, and it's used for ads. Any ad that you've ever watched or seen or read was using copywriting. And this is the style of writing you want to use to build your e-commerce site. You might want to hire a copywriter. This is a very popular business, copywriting nowadays, even the biggest organizations. It's a skill that not everybody has. So to populate your website, make sure that you have the proper copywriting, not content writing, copywriting, all right? I'll give some examples. Now, when we talk about content writing, this is different. Just as copywriting is to build your site, content writing is to build your brand, and that's different. Content writing uses storytelling. I do a lot of content writing. It's like the zest of your business. It brings your business to life. I need a tea, sorry. It informs, it educates, and it engages the reading. So you're not selling when you're doing content writing. And this is where so many brands are not sure what message they're putting out there to their customers. For instance, during the COVID-19 outbreak, a lot of companies put out content, whether on their Instagram posts or on their website. Content is just to let you know we care, touch base with you, wish you well, That's content writing. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not trying to get you to my website to buy anything. So try not to mix those up. Content writing, it builds the trust and the likability with your brand. And it's displayed in ways like blogs and articles and white papers, all right? So let's look at the difference. So when you're building your e-commerce platform, you'll know what you should be putting on your website and especially on your product and services page. So copywriting, here's an example of bad copywriting. A website that says, food to help you lose weight fast. Not a good example of good copywriting. Here's good copywriting. Commonalities of top weight loss diets and how you can use them to lose weight. Because now you're like, the first one sounds like just this scheme that everybody's using, you know, back in the day, the shopping channel, like it's just so buy this now because it's gonna help you lose weight fast. Everybody claims that. But when you say commonalities, so we're not saying that this will work for everybody, but it's very common among people that these are the top weight loss diets that you can follow. All of a sudden, I'm more engaged. I want to know more. And that's what good copywriting does. It makes them click the next page or scroll down or click the product, right? Or learn more. Or if on Instagram, you know, check more posts. And it says, and how you can use them to lose weight. So now you want to know what those diets are, why they're top weight loss diets, and now you want to know how you can use them. That's a good example of good copywriting. Keep that in mind when you're building your e-commerce site. Another example of good copywriting practices. When you're building your website, try to refrain from just highlighting features. Talk about features versus benefits. Features is an example here. Get 50,000 points for signing up to our members program. Okay, but when you look at benefits, same thing, get 50,000 points for signing up to our members program. Explain to me what value that is. That's enough for 2 free round trip tickets to anywhere in the United States. Now I'm able to see the benefit and the value of what you're saying. And that is what you want to have on your e-commerce platform. Remember, this is something you didn't probably have to think about when you had a store because you could give all that information. Somebody walks into my tea shop and picks up a tea. I can tell them, oh, this is the top tea over the last week. People love it. Here's why. Because it's rich in antioxidants. It helps the free radicals to get out of your body. Keeps you looking younger longer. Green tea, shameless plug. So we're able to do that in person. But how we do that online is through strategic writing, which is copywriting, all right? Not just putting things up there that like, sign up now and get this. Tell me what getting that means to me or should mean to me. Whoa, Brad Pitt, somebody? All right, not quite. Okay, so now let's get into photography. You know that saying, picture tells 1,000 words? Well, online and with your e-commerce platform, one good picture makes 1,000 designs. Now, I have, over the last 10 years, milked this concept. That if I spend the money, spend the time, I lied. My brother and my brother's wife are photographers, so I didn't have to spend that much money. But spending the time to get professional photography done has made designing websites, flyers, materials, everything, blogs, it has made it so easy. Because when I look to give life and graphics and imagery to my content, I have these high profile, high resolution pictures that I can just draw from. And when you have one good picture, you can use it in so many different ways. Let me show an example of that. So I took this picture here, and as you can see, quite handsome, self-proclaimed. The same picture could be, I made up this company called Bubble Teas. You'll never get enough of the drinks. And this looks like the front page, or could be the front page of a website. And all it is, plop the same good quality picture or photo on the front of the website, add some graphics, shop now, put the name and a slogan, and building your front page of your website could be that easy. I did this in 3 minutes. Why? Because when I click my photos album, there was good photography, all right? But from that same picture, I built this. I also built banners on my website. There's my lovely wife, Renata, and myself. When you click our About Us page, you get this kaboom picture, which is like, it's cool, but it's the same photo, the exact same Steve Jobs pose, done from the one picture. Not done, because that one investment in a good photo is going to pay itself off over and over and over and over. Because, and I wish I had this behind me, sorry, Otis, my banner for trade shows is the same photo. My business cards, same photo. So that photo, boom. For those who don't know, in 2017, my wife and I were fortunate enough to have the opportunity of serving tea to His Royal Highness, Prince Charles, which was like, I'm still trying to believe it myself. Now, when you go to our royalties collection site, part on our website, guess what? Same photo, cropped differently. Do you see the value of having a good photo? And you look on blogs and everything, you could plop it in the same way. So I wanted to, at this time, also show you, I'm just gonna jump out of there for a second, what good photography. Now, it's important. I would not recommend that there are many sites that you can use other people's high quality photos for free. I'm not against it, but limit it. I would not build my entire e-commerce site using other people's photography. Why, Daniel? The biggest reason, we all have access to the same photos. So we're able to do the same thing, and my site could look exactly like yours. So I would really be careful of that. I'm just gonna move along a little quickly because I see the time, but original photos, right? That's not my photo, but it hides in well. Original photos, right? And if you click over here, original photos, again, just invest the time in photography, all right? So let's jump back in and move along. So that's the photos. It's the golden key. It's the must-have. Failure to display good photos could, and I'm sorry if you're related to these people at all, or if you are this person, I'm very sorry. But just an example of not the most effective photo, especially for a photography website. It doesn't bring the viewer in. So it's really, really key, all right? There's some good examples of photos. And moving along, to build or not to build. I'm gonna go through this slide fairly quickly. It's just a quiz. Should you build your site yourself versus hiring a pro? So again, good photo, all right? Here's the questions to ask. Number 1, do you have graphic design experience? Number 2, do you have patience? Number 3, do you have a good eye for detail? And has that been proven? Number 4, are you moderately tech savvy? You don't need to be like insanely tech savvy, but do you understand, how to navigate? Do you know what SEO means? 6, do you understand any level of coding at all? Number 7, could your business still operate if your site was down? If you answered at least 4 no's, hire a pro. Save yourself the headache, hire a pro. The value of getting a pro to take care of those things that you don't understand will get your business up and running efficiently much faster. I didn't understand this till about year 7 or 8, right? That I should have just hired somebody. And only when I did sales go up, did efficiency go up, and did we get what we needed, all right? And lastly, 3, 2, 1, blast off, how to promote and launch your site. Folks, no different than when you had or have a brick and mortar store. What you see inline is what you want to see online. Don't complicate the process. If we want to see this lineup, which we were so thankful for at our second grand opening, this is the things that we did to have such a successful opening for our store. We duplicated the process online. Keep customers informed. So if you're gonna, after this, start building your online site, keep customers informed. Go on Instagram stories or whatever platform you use. Let people know. So guys, I'm gonna be building my e-commerce site so you can get access to our products. Follow me while I'm up late at night, and I'll let you know updates on where we are, all right? Number 2, incentivize. Do giveaways on your social platforms. This is what we did. Give away things. Do little fun things. Give away little credits when you do open up your online store. Keep people incentivized. Otherwise, if you don't give us a reason to care, very simple, we won't care. Number 3, gamify your site. All this means is look online, research for little quizzes or little, like Wheel of Fortune type games that you can add onto your website. Because if your photo or your products won't draw people to the site, maybe a game will. And when they're on your site, then they could start exploring. We did that. We added a quiz, like personality quiz to our website. And people came because they wanted to fill it out and see what tea they were. So gamify your site, add something cool, unique. Number 4, add PR. Send out a press release to different blog sites or to news and media sites that you are launching. Remember, news media sites need news. If it's news what you're doing, they will highlight it and potentially expose you to a big clientele or bigger reach than you had for yourself. 5, nothing beats building relationships. Get to know what your customers want to see on your website. Ask questions, do quizzes, forms, take that feedback and apply it to your website, and be interested in other people's, like your followers, in their lives, and then they'll be interested in yours. Lastly, have fun with the whole process. As you're having fun, people will have fun and want to join you along the process. All right? Sorry for speeding through that last one, but I felt like I just wanted to appreciate your time. And there's the recap for you. Amazon, the right site, name, domain, host, copywriting, build or not build, blast off. Folks, today and tomorrow begin with T. Thank you for your time, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing your experience and your valuable tips. It was really a great presentation, and we even got serenaded along the way. So thank you so much for that. So we'll open things up for the Q&A. One of the questions we got emailed in was, do you, or got messaged was, do you do your own copy content writing, and what advice do you have on getting this right?
Yes, great question. So yes, my wife is more of the copywriter. So to bring in sales type of writing, my wife does that. And for content, we both do it, but I am really good with content writing. We do it ourselves. And it's really just a skill that I think we've built over time. We haven't always been great at it, and we're still not perfect. Read blogs, listen to vlogs about it, on experts on the topic. And there's even online courses that you can take, like 2-week, 3-week courses, or, that you can, short courses that can build your skills in this. So it's something, if you just put a little research, when you see what a good example is and a bad example, you could literally look at what you just wrote and say, okay, how could I change it to be more like that? So it's something, if you just spend some time, do the research, or take a little course and build your skill, it's super easy. But time is money. You don't have to spend time on the things that you're not great at. That's efficient business. I learned that, so I would rather outsource it if I wasn't able to do it. So there are copywriters like my wife. There are people who give out their service as freelancer copywriters. I'm telling you, you may see their rate at like $60 an hour, $100 an hour. It is worth it. There is a reason why companies spend thousands of dollars on copywriters, because it brings in the sales. It's proven to bring in sales.
Thank you. Next question. Do you still do in-person events now that your company's online?
Yes. Now I'm a little bit more strategic in what events I do. But yes, still it will never. And I hope I don't eat this in 10 years, what I'm about to say. Physical face-to-face will never be overtaken by online. That is just my Daniel's opinion, not facts, Daniel's opinion. There's nothing like seeing the person's eyebrows move and seeing their smile and seeing the genuine energy and interest from person to person. So I will never stop doing those in person events. But at the same time, we also expanded internationally. So we sell worldwide. We sell a lot in the US, Australia, the UK. I can't just be at all those events. So it's up to me and my team to find unique ways of articulating ourselves the very same way. And that is done through content writing and photography. Through my content, if you go on danielspeaks.ca and read any of my blogs, you will be able to extract my personality. And that is effective content writing. If you're a serious person and very technical, we should get that from your writing and the way that you write. If you're very fun and down to earth and really pop personality, we should get that from the imagery you might want to have on your front page. And that's going to give the same feeling as if you were in person. But yes, I still do events.
Okay. And how often do you post on social media, and do you hire people to do that for you?
So no, I don't hire people. So my wife and I also we put on pause now, a marketing company. So we do all the marketing ourselves. We post, I tried doing, scheduled posts where it's like every day 2 posts or 1 post, or that's not my personality. It's not real to me. And every time I try it, I can't keep up with it because it's not real. I'm sporadic, but constant. So anytime I feel I need to share something valuable, I post. That just so happens to be every day, sometimes twice a day. So and every digital media person will tell you differently. I say find a way that jives naturally with you, because then it won't feel like work and you won't feel behind. You'll just feel natural. Social media should be natural. It should feel like this is just me putting myself out there online. So we do all of our own posts, and I tend to post at least once a day. And then Instagram stories, I'm frequently on.
Okay, thank you. How has your team grown over the years to help support your business?
So interesting question. So my team first it was just me. Then my wife quit her job and joined me. So it's just us two for about 2-3 years, working the event scene, trade shows, online. We opened our first store. We hired another person, so it was us 3. As our store built over the next 2-3 years, we had about a team of 6 or 7. And then we had like events teams where we would go out to trade shows. So no more than about 10 people. And then as of last year, completely closed our brick and mortar store, went back to just my wife and I. And now any services that we need that we don't want to spend the time on, we outsource. So whereas we would do all the graphic designing ourselves before, we have a graphic designer. Where we would build the website ourselves and take the few days or a week to do it, we now outsource that. So our team now is a mobile team, and my wife and I are the ones running the company.
Great. And another question here is, what if you're just starting a business and it's entirely online? What marketing strategies would you recommend other than social media?
Other than social media? Good question. Well, so again, I will go back to the events, but I mean, we're in a pandemic right now, so that's not doable. Other than social media, it's a good kind of subliminal way of marketing, and I don't want to call it that, but is becoming an expert in what you sell. And not that you have to be an expert as in you have 15, 20 years experience, but just being a person we could turn to on the topic. So for instance, let's say you make cupcakes, right? And that's what you're going to be selling online. As long as you are a fountain of information that, like, I want to build cupcakes at home, or if I want to get started out in making cupcakes, I could turn to your channel. So whether that's a vlog on YouTube, oh yes, you said without social media. So whether that's just, you could write a book, you know what I mean? Like I've written books, like 3 books, one on marketing. Any way that could put you in a position of being an expert are ways that we will glean from, and that is a way of marketing your business. Now, would I start a business by writing a book? Probably not. I would more be keen to do events. And you know what? There's no easy way around that question. Social media is kind of what we're given right now, right? Unless you're opening up a physical store, social media is here, and there's not many ways around it. So it is a really tough question. Unfortunately, I wish I had a better answer for you. But if you're not using social media, you got to get really, really creative.
Mm-hmm. And then we have one, do you find value in collaborations? And if so, how do you suggest the best strategy to go about this and leveraging those partnerships?
So 100% yes. And I ran through this slide, but when I said build relationships, if you look at the end here, it says strategic partners create mutually beneficial partnerships. This could be with influencers or other complementing brands. In other words, if you're a cupcake company, partnering with a tea company could be a great way in on their audience and also to better position you. I have done so many partnerships that I think have been beneficial, very beneficial. So for instance, this webinar, I'm partnered with Access Community Capital Fund, right? Their audience, my audience, all together. It's a way to leverage other people's audiences and grow your own network. I definitely recommend you reach out to complementing brands and see if there's a way that your products or your services could blend together to create something. I just did a virtual tea tasting with Edward Jones. So the financial advisor got me to do a virtual tea testing for his clients. What did I get out of it? New clients. They all got my teas. They all saw me as the expert. Now they've turned to me. I've got another booking for it. People look to me, ask questions. And to the gentleman that booked me, he has some new tea information and offered a great incentive to his clients during this time. So there's nothing more powerful than strategic partnerships. And big corporate companies are often looking for partnerships as well as a way to build their local footprint to show they're involved in their communities. So don't think, because it's Mercedes-Benz or I can't partner with them. If you have a good enough product and a great outreach, there's ways that you can partner with any company.
And then the last question we're going to, just because of time, is what courses can you suggest or recommend or any resources to learn more about starting in e-commerce?
So in starting e-commerce specifically, I would say go on YouTube, check out, like top 10 e-commerce platforms. And I would say your best education would be people who have done it. People on YouTube who have built sites. They're, without paying anything, going to highlight all the features, all the benefits, and also tell you about all the issues and problems. So I find that YouTube is the best way to just gain all the information, take notes. If you're looking for a more academic way of learning how to build an e-commerce site, I don't know this 100% sure, but check out sites like Coursera that offer like university courses, college courses, where you can actually get maybe a certificated course in how to build an e-commerce or any, like in marketing or any business fundamental. Check out websites that offer certified courses. But I would really say your best bet is YouTube and just watching videos from experts and reading a lot of articles and blogs. Research, that's that. And if you go onto the website of the one you're thinking, say Wix or Shopify, they often have tutorials that pretty much teach you what you should do and how to do it.
Thank you so much, Daniel. My apologies if we did not get to your question. There were so many great questions. that came today, but I hope we got to most of them. So thank you so much again for being here with us today. Today's webinar has been recorded, and we will be sharing the webinar link with you via email afterwards. We welcome you to revisit the content yourself or share it with your network. You will also be receiving a webinar evaluation. We'd really appreciate if you take a couple of minutes to complete this. It really helps us when we're figuring out what upcoming webinars people are interested in. So you can also provide any suggestions you might have for us. And we do have 2 upcoming webinars this coming week. On May 5th, we have a webinar on how to file small business taxes. And then on May 7th, we have MP Adam Vaughn, who will discuss financial assistance for COVID-19. So it'd be great if you guys can join us to both of those. And you can find out more information on all of our upcoming webinar by visiting accessccf.com. So again, thank you all so much for being with us today. And thank you, Daniel, for your time and effort.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Okay, take care, everyone.